Teacher and author Chasten IPR grew up near Grawn and now lives in Grand Traverse County with his husband and 2 kids. He's just released a young adult adaptation of his memoir called I Have Something to Tell You. IPR spoke with IPR's Ed Ronco about the book and growing up gay in northern Michigan.
You describe a childhood here in northern Michigan that was among a close-knit family. You did lots of things together, but you also talked about feeling isolated here as a young gay person. Was that a product of the place or of the era?
A little both.
Yeah.
The era in that I wasn't necessarily isolated, physically. I was doing lots of things, but I was pretending to be somebody else. A lot of that isolation was in my head, knowing that if anyone found out the secret about me, I'd probably lose everything. And then just growing up in northern Michigan, I was like being outside. And so I too could like run into the woods and be alone and build my forts and,
For kids today who are in middle school, in high school, do you get the sense that things are improving for them when they might be struggling with the same feelings of isolation or having to hide themselves?
I think when it comes to those feelings, that may be universal.
Yeah.
That comes with age and growing up. When it comes to the idea of it getting better for LGBTQ Americans, I think certainly the existence of marriage equality, the idea that we can have same-sex adoption didn't exist when I was a kid. So those things have technically gotten better. Because things were getting better, other people now want to make them worse. Because we progressed, because we have some of these achievements, other people are now focused on making life harder or worse, especially for young, vulnerable people, like young LGBTQ people.
As a gay man myself, this was a book I wished I had when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I started writing it knowing that this would be something I wish I could have read in middle school, something that validated my experience, something that would have soothe some of those burns.
There's been a lot of pushback to the access kids and teens have to books about gender, about LGBT issues. Mm-hmm. Have you experienced any of that with this book yet? It's so new. But
yeah, so the book comes out on the 16th. And I taught middle school, so I know my audience. I know what's age appropriate as a parent, as a teacher. So I think if this book has, if anyone raises eyebrows about this book, I think that would just be pure politics.
Is there a way through this conversation that ends with safety and reassurance and people having access to the information they need or that would be helpful to them?
I hope so. This is written for young adults, but I really hope that parents and teachers will pick this up and read it as well. It might help them understand what young people are going through, what young LGBTQ people might be going through. We can start having some of those really important conversations if everyone comes to the table in good faith. Some of the greatest allies in my life have found their progress not by people beating them over the head on social media, but by somebody building a bridge, board by board, through love, through empathy, through understanding, and a commitment to wanting that person to get to the right side of history with my family, some of my closest friends, and community members that I thought I was running away from when I was 18, who are now great allies.
By the very nature of the topic, you're talking about a lot of heavy things in the book. There's a lot of joy in this book, too, and a lot of sense of not just you are not alone, but the world is here for you. The world is ready for you to be you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want young people to know that they can stop caring about the opinions of their peers right now. They don't have to wait until they graduate.
That feels easier said than done.
Of course it's easier said than done, but we all spent so much time in school worried about blending in, worried about being popular, worrying about doing the right thing. And I spent so much time just hating myself, for being gay and pouring myself into things that I thought would impress other people or impress my family. You can be goofy, you can be funny, but don't take up too much space. And I want young people to know that they should take up as much space as they can, and they should lean into everything that makes them unique.
You, in the book, describe your husband, who we all know as Secretary Pete Buttigieg, you refer to as Peter because that's what you call him, as an insufferable optimist.
Yeah.
How do you see the world ahead now that you are a father with a family? What kind of world are Gus and Penelope heading into as contrasted with the one you're coming out of?
Yeah, I certainly get to make decisions every day about the parent that I want to be and the home that I want them to grow up in, from the toys they get to play with, the books that we read, the conversations we have, the things that we value from day one. Peter is an insufferable optimist. And when the world seems loud and the politics seem overwhelming, it's our kids that ground us and remind us of what matters. And world peace is a big box to check by yourself. Spreading acceptance and equality for all LGBTQ people is an insurmountable box to check by yourself. But when you go down the list and you start thinking about all the things that you can do in your day-to-day life to make life better or easier for other people, being a really good dad and showing up for my family, my 2 kids, is a really good job, and it gives me really great purpose. And I think we all have that ability to show up for our kids, or show up for young people, show up for our community in a multitude of ways. It's certainly why Traverse City Northern Michigan has seen so much more progress socially and politically, because people came together and they decided that they were going to make it better.
And you decided to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this place. I love living here. But forgive me, you and your husband are famous, and you probably could have chosen to go live anywhere you want. Why did Northern Michigan call you home?
It's always been home.
Yeah.
Even when I was running away from it. There are times when I will pass the fast food restaurant I was living off of for a couple months, the parking lot where I used to park my car and sleep in the back of it, the subdivision my friend's house was in that I was crashing on their couch when I ran away from home. There are little reminders of a past life. There are so many good things here that make Traverse City where I want to have, my family. And family is so important to me. My mom is watching the kids right now. To allow my parents to be closer to their grandkids, to watch that beautiful relationship develop. I want to be part of the renaissance of Traverse City as well, that there's this tremendous progress. I don't feel this way about anywhere else in the country, that I want to be here. This is where I want my family to be.
Well, and everybody's situation is going to be different, but one of the takeaways for me was there was this place that you needed to get away from in order to fully realize yourself, or for the many reasons you may have wanted to leave, but that you could come back eventually. Yeah. That feeling of I need to get out of here turned out to be temporary as well.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much that I was running away from Northern Michigan. I was running away from myself. The woods and the waters of Northern Michigan shaped me. I love being here. I love taking my kids around Northern Michigan, hiking the dunes, and there's just so much about here that is home. It feels home. It's in your blood, It's the progress that has been made and needs to be made that I'm heartened to see and heartened to be part of.
IPR's Ed Ronco speaking with teacher and author Chasten IPR. He's just released a young adult adaptation of his memoir, I Have Something to Tell You.